Do. Phenomena. So, project at hand is replacing this shower in this brand new trailer. Well, not brand new, but you know, kind of brand new. It's only about 6 months old, but it came from the factory like this. So, show you what a problem is. And the remedy is just to put a new one in. So, you can see the big gap down there, and you can see the wall on the other side of it. So, this is how this came from the factory. Problem is, this block is too big, so I think it was installed correctly, and then they shoved that block in there and jammed everything over and shifted that whole pan over, because this thing is actually pretty flimsy. And you can see that's how thick the entire thing is. They don't make it very strong. So in doing so, it actually shoved in the cabinet too. You see that line on the floor, how it starts going in. But yeah, the cabinet's shoved in as well. So what we got to do is take it all out and put a whole new one in. To get warranted, Mallard they sent all the parts to the dealer, and the dealer gave me the parts because I didn't want to wait till whenever they think that they could get to it, because the wait time was kind of ridiculous. And I'm sort of a perfectionist, and it really bothers me when people work on my stuff. And I haven't heard very good stories about the service at Camping Worlds either, so I don't really want to deal with it. And to be honest, it was quite the ordeal to even get it looked at, and I don't want to deal with them at all. So I'm going to put it in myself. They tell me it's going to void my warranty. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, because it's just going to sit here, and I'm not even going to end up using it until the warranty is almost over. So, anywho, I think it just voids the warranty on the shower though. But so anyway, let's get this out. I already took the little panel off, which is right there, and underneath there is just a drain. Let me get my light out for you. I'm unprepared. Right there. So I'm just going to loosen up that clamp on the bottom of the P-trap right there, and that'll let me pick the shower pan straight up off of it. So, being that they helped me out by not putting in all the screws anyway, I don't have to take that one out because it's not there. I only have to take that one out. So, undo that screw there and that, and then the pan will come right out. Well, not really. But anyway, so we got to disconnect the hoses for this. There's little thumb screws behind here. I took the 4 screws out of that already. You know, kind of. I mean, you could probably get it from underneath and then pull this whole thing out. But I think I'm just going to try to take them off right there. So you see the little plastic nuts right there on the other lines. I'll take those off, and then this should be free. And once that's free, we'll take these screws out here that are holding this on, and then the screws there. And we'll have basically the backsplash, the hose is undone. Then to get the door off, or the shower surround, you got to take these screws out here. Got this one, and that one, and that one, and that one. Take them 4 out. And then we should be able to get this track off. But first, I'm going to take the glass off. So I'm just going to kind of push down on those lower rollers and kind of unhook them, and then take the glass off the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these screws out, I might have to disassemble this. I don't exactly know. I guess I might as well try to just disassemble it. So there's a little plastic tab here. That holds the glass in. I'm surprised it didn't break it, to be honest, because it's got a lot of tension on there. Pulling that out because this bottom is not in right. So take these little two hooks out. It looks like this will maybe come out. Maybe not. I don't know. Alright. So yeah, this little screw up here at the top holding this top rail in. Take the one out on this side too. Remove this top rail, it just slides up. And wiggle it. There's that. So take these screws out. Leave that top one in to hold it. There's that. So there's those. Oh. What's that? This pulls out of the bottom track just like the top comes off. There's that. So, anyway, so that's the bottom track. These are little kind of grooves that the side rails slip into this. Looks like there's a screw probably goes in there to hold, like a hole. Probably a screw goes to the side. It's threaded. There wasn't one in there. Don't know if there was supposed to be, but there ain't. It's a long way down these days. So, come over here, reach in, and try to get them off. I might have to put them together. Maybe when I'll figure out how the lines are on down there. You're probably supposed to put them on there and then slide the lines in and then connect them underneath. I don't know, so I'm going to do it this way to get it apart. Oh no! I think I struck a vein. It's just the antifreeze I have in there. Maybe I try to Got a little pressure. It's like a murder scene in here. Where's the body? No, nothing happened. It was like that when I got here. So, let's start taking these screws out. There's that. These rivets, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do about the rivets. I imagine they're probably like a plug that goes in there and then you push the center section in. So I wonder if I can I got a drill and like a wood screw. What if I can drill in there and use a wood screw and pop them out? You're going to want the good pliers that you need 2 hands to open. Turn the thing on. So there's a rivet. It's basically just a little nail head in there, and they're closed. They probably come like that. I just drill the hole, put that in there, and push that nail head in. So what I did was, you could see my witness marks. I just came in here and got in there and kind of pried this side and then pried that side to get this up a little bit. Using the pliers, pull it out. I came behind here with the pick and just kind of wiggled it loose, probably use a screwdriver, and popped that out. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more to go. I'm gonna do that, and then yeah, then we'll pull that backsplash off, whatever you call it, surround. Came in here like so. Turn. There. I got lucky. I didn't break the camera. Did that scare you as much as it scared me? And there's that. So, that's how I did that. Of course, I didn't smack the camera the other times. So we got all the rivets out. We'll try to pull this off. Probably not something you'd ever think you'd have to do $35,000 later. Oh, you know what? That was barely even freaking hand tight. I think that was, yeah, that was barely even tight. I swear they were trying to make this thing leak everywhere they could. Because it was just stuff. All the water lines were loose, like everywhere. And that drain was barely even hand tight, if it was even hand tight. It's going to leak all underneath it. It's garbage, to be honest. Complete garbage. So we're going to pull this up. And then I'm going to come out. Unless I got one screw back there. What is that holding on? Yeah, it's going to be something stupid like a staple. What a joke. Oh, I hope it's not run under the lines. There's a hole cut in there where the stuff runs through. No. What the heck's hold on? What the hell they do? Put a screw. It's like they put a screw in from the inside into that thing. There is. Are you kidding me? You see the screw on the upper right corner there? Huh. I don't know how they got that in there. I bet you there's another one under this panel going that way. I gotta remove this from here, so that'll come out with this. Or at least they keep it interesting. Well, I did what all you knew I was gonna do. I just ripped it out. I mean, I pulled that up and I was taking it out with the screwdriver. Then it came out enough, it just pulled out. So done. So you got your state-of-the-art particle board down there. So we got to trim this down. I don't know how far I got to go. Probably at least till that's where the line was. I imagine it's going to be the base is going to be the same size as the top. So I got to come back at least to there and see if that'll allow this to come back in. Not really. It's pretty much permanently deformed. We'll get a little bit out of it. So, yeah, I'm gonna trim that down. Alright, so I cut this piece of sheet metal out. This actually was the back side of a giant filing cabinet. I cut it, so I cut the whole back out of it. I probably got like a 4 by 5 foot piece of this sheet metal. This is 11 by 13. I kind of trimmed it right there because this is going to have an arc in it. So I cut this out for that to go in there. We'll put the shower pan bottom back on, and I'll tighten the nut up there. And then we'll put the 2 screws in the front. I can't get to the 2 screws that are going to be over here. And then once that's in, I'm going to do a second measurement over here for this little spacer decorative thing to screw that in and make sure that that line is actually where it's going to be. Without it kind of stuffed over like that, there's actually a gap on this side that I wasn't really expecting. It wasn't there on the other one, but I think it's because the whole thing was twisted so much. So I'm going to take the other half and I'm going to put it on this side to kind of dress up this end here too. And then it'll kind of make it look a little better, I'm thinking. So I'll take this, Just put this down. That's all this looks like. Something like that. And then bring this guy in. I had to pre-drill these holes and, like I say, notch the ends to go over the hoses that come in, and I'll slip that in. So I'll get this set back in place. I had to lift it back up because I had to reorient this bottom plate down here and slide it over a little bit. But you can see there, it's now got pretty good clearance around the thing. So when you step on it, it doesn't really contact. I did have to put little pieces of wood underneath the legs there because it wasn't tall enough. So when you stepped on the top, it would settle a lot and kind of move a bit. So I glued those little pieces of wood under there. Help with that. I got 3 screws in. I can't get one in over there because there's just not enough room, but I did get one in over here. I drilled it and I was able to get a hand screwdriver in there and tighten that screw. So that's in there. I don't know if I recorded it or not, but when I had this out, or before I took it out, I drilled holes through the side of this here and then into this, so I can screw this to the cabinet from the inside. So these holes should line up, and I did cut this at the 2 inches and put a little notch down there for that bottom lip. Let's try to slip that in. That's in there. It ain't really tight, but it's pretty close. I think part of the problem is this thing here is just like the paper. Once I screw it in, it ought to kind of suck it over a little bit, and I think we'll be fine. Make it work. But let's put them screws in there. So I got this block back in. I had to take it out another time. I had a little bit more of a gap on the shower side than I would have liked. So I drilled a little bit of a hole. Let's get the light there. Right about here in the middle, there was after the step, I drilled a little hole in there, and then I put a screw in from the tub side or shower side into this block to hold it tight. There's a smidge of a gap, but gotta be realistic. It's not a flat side. It's stepped a couple times, so there's only so good you're gonna get, and you can't get anything in here because the wall of the shower's there. So yeah, that's about as good as I'm gonna get that. So anyway, there's that. I get the side over here. I cut this side 1 3/8 inches. Not gonna really be able to screw it in, so it's just gonna kind of sit there. But anyway, I think that's good enough. I mean, I can eventually screw it in if it's really an issue. You can get to it from inside this cabinet, but you gotta take the toilet out. I mean, I might be able to squeeze my arm in there, but for right now, I don't think that's gonna be a problem. So, I mean, if it starts falling out, and I can go through here and put it in, or put a screw in it, but as of right now, I'm not too worried about it. Before, this did have some give, like you pushed on it, you could feel it deflect. It is pretty solid now that I shimmed up the bottom of those 2x3s, so pretty happy about that. Because you get in there and it's like it's moving around. It kind of feels kind of weird underneath your feet and real cheap, but it feels pretty solid now for being a thin little piece of plastic with just some foam underneath and then some crappy wood. So I guess you gotta put the shower surround in. I'll show you what I did with that. You gotta drill some holes here, obviously, because the holes were in there when where the hot and cold come through. I went and got the other one. Those were 2.5-inch holes that I measured. I couldn't get a 2.5-inch hole saw. They only had 1 or 2 3/8, which actually worked pretty good because normally they kind of walk a little bigger than they say. So I mean, that was the outline of it, and it got pretty good coverage. So I took this and I set it in here like that, and I taped it front, bottom, top. Went out there to the other one. I put it in the same spot roughly. I mean, I don't think it has to be exact. I held my hand on it, and then I traced the circle from the back side of the old hole, transferred it to this and transferred it to that, and then hole sawed it out. So I put some was a double-sided foam tape on there. So if you want to delve into the land of confusion that is double-sided stick tape, well, yeah, I got no joke to go with that. Anyway, there are so many options, so many thicknesses, so many different types of things that they do. It's quite confusing. So I called Mallard to ask them what they use for this double-sided stick tape. I ended up getting this 3M stuff right here. It's not very good, if you ask me. I mean, it might be alright. It's supposed to handle higher temperatures and stuff. It is a little cold out here. I think it's 60 degrees in here, so it might be part of the reason that it doesn't want to stick very well. I mean, it's sticking better now. I think the longer I leave it on there, the better it adheres and the better it is sticking. But anyway, so I called Mallard and I asked them what they use on this. And they gave me the service department. Well, first they transferred me to parts, and they gave me the service department. The service department said, oh, you're going to want parts for that, and you're going to need your VIN number. So I said, okay. So they sent an email to parts to try to ask them if they know what's used on it. They said they need my VIN number. I gave them the VIN number. They said it was butyl tape. So I messaged them back. I said, are you sure it's butyl tape? Because it definitely was not butyl tape that came off. Then didn't hear from them again. So I guess that was the end of their expertise. So I emailed the service guy again, because he told me if they don't have any luck with them, then message him back or email him back, and he'll try to call production and find out what they use. So I emailed him back. After about a couple of days, he sent me an email, said that he'll try to call production, and he'll get back to me when he hears from them. Haven't heard from him. It's been probably a week and a half now. So basically, I looked around. I found the stuff. It was 1 inch wide, 1/8 inch thick. 3M, came in a pretty big roll, 36 yards or something like that. It was $30, so I got that. Got the plastic rivets, wherever they are. Right there, plastic rivets. I think they're 3/8. Sometimes you gotta drill a 3/8 hole and then just kind of punch them in. So we'll use those. So it's gonna be fun trying to get this in here with the one shot that you're gonna get, because once it starts sticking to stuff, you're kind of done. So yeah, I guess let's give this a try. I'm kind of lucky that it's sort of like squished narrow, because then I can just tuck the corner in and then tuck that in and then kind of open up the sides to try to get the stick. So to be totally honest, I don't know where I'm gonna put the camera, because I kind of need the whole doorway to get this in there. You gotta, like, I don't know, open it up. But maybe we can set you up over here. Well, that's fun. So, we got it up in there. That part was lining the sides here, so it does have to line up right with the edges. Tucking it into the back, I mean, that's what I was trying to do, was tuck that back in as tight as I could get it, and then kind of fold it out, but it was just kind of curling up on me. It was really not going very easily. I don't know how well that's going to stick down there. I don't really know if it matters much. It's got like a lip in there, like a 1/2-inch lip, so it would literally have to go in there and then up in, which I don't really see that happening. Definitely better than it was. I mean, when you step on it, it does get a little squish, so it kind of pulls on it. I don't know. Sure better than it was. So, let's keep moving on. I mean, it's not a bathtub, it's just a shower. Hoping that gets held back. That's sticking. I guess I could put another screw in there. Kind of hold it back in the middle. But I'm gonna end up putting a whole string of screws in there when I put the glass door on, so I don't know if that's gonna make a huge difference. Maybe I know I'll put another one in there just because that is pulling away pretty hard. Alright, so I'm just gonna try to slide this back together. See if I can keep these little tabs that I took out earlier the first time. So basically it just kind of slides down with these little notches on the end, slide in, and then the glass hooks in behind that tab. So hopefully I can do it without having to take that little tab off. But I'm pretty sure I'll be able to. And yeah, we'll get it back together. So, got that all screwed in over there. So I gotta drill the holes, put the rivets in along the top. I think there was 6 and 2 at the bottom. And then should be done, except for that. I gotta put the 4 screws in there and hang the rest of it. So I tightened up the fittings in the back of that valve, and I put that valve on, and I just put a couple screws in for the holder there. I didn't put this back on. I'm debating on even putting this back on because it's kind of obnoxious. Like when it's there, you don't get a very good range of motion with the end. I don't know if it's there to catch it just in case it falls, it won't hit anything, or exactly what it's for. I mean, I might put it back on. I just haven't put it back on yet. So, anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean around this shower fixture there, or the bracket that goes to the side of the wall here. And I'm going to put some silicone in there. And I drilled the holes down here for the rivets. I'm going to put some silicone on the rivets for down there so we don't get any water going in down there. And then I think we should be kind of done. Oh, I gotta put the door on, but the door's pretty easy, so let's do that. I'm just rubbing this down with some isopropyl alcohol. This is just some silicone I had laying around from a project I did on the house. I changed the doors out, and it's just white. It is lifetime mold free sealant. They got different types. Obviously, check your temperature ratings. I had to put the heat back on just so I could put this on, because it's 40 degrees is a minimum application temp. So I think the other stuff that I had was 0. So you just got to make sure it's going to work in the temperature range that you're doing it in. So let's get this on. This thing's going to be in the way. I'm just going to take it right off. Oh, that almost went down the drain. Got lucky on that. So, it's dry. So I will take this panel back off and verify that that valve isn't leaking and dripping down after once winter's over, and I don't have to re-winterize it again to run the stuff through. But I guess I could re-pressurize it with antifreeze and see if I get a leak. I don't think I'm going to. Like I said, I got it pretty tight in there when I was doing it, so hopefully that's good. So let me get the rivets. We'll put some silicone on those rivets and I'll put those in. So you get these tops hooked, put it in like that, straighten it up, set it down, and then these bottom ones are spring loaded. You just push them down and then get them in there. How's that? So that's that. Shower's all back in. It wasn't that hard to do in the whole scheme of it. I don't know. When they sent us the backsplash or the surround there, it was in a box that was probably about this big around. So it's obviously, it was folded to get it in there. And it kind of took the shape because it had been in the box for a little while. So opening it back up was a little tricky by myself, but if it was one that hadn't been, collapsed so much or folded so much, I think it probably would have held that outside shape. It would have been easier to get back on. The double-sided tape that I got, I'm not impressed with it. Like I say, I'm not sure if it's because it just is what it is, or if it is was old, or I don't know really what it was. It probably just is what it is. It wasn't super sticky, but I mean, it works. I think once it sits there a bit, probably because it hadn't been riveted at first, it had a little bit of play, but once the rivets are in there, it'll set to that. There are a lot of options for double-sided foam tape and double-sided tape as well. I tried to get the VHB, the very high bond stuff, but I couldn't find anything thick enough. This was 1/8 inch thick, and everything I found was like a 1/16 or even smaller, so I don't think it would have made the contact right. I don't think there's enough space in there because of the ribs that are actually in the surround. But anyway, it went pretty smoothly, I think. It didn't take me very long. I've done this over a course of a couple of days because I had to wait for things to come and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, yeah, came out. I think it maybe took me like an hour and a half to get it out, and probably about the same amount of time going in. Maybe like 2 hours going in, just because I was taking my time and I wanted to make sure it was on there right and some things like that. So anyway, that's that. I can show you what it looks like. So like this little block right here, obviously this wasn't in here. The tub, shower pan here was pressed tight up against the cabinet. And that was some leftovers. I think that was like 1.5 inches that I cut that to. Wasn't a perfect job, but I don't think you're going to notice it after a while. Over here is the other one. I think I went to, maybe this was 1.5 inches and that was like 1.25 inches. I don't remember exactly. I cut that a little bit thicker, so it kind of had to press in there a little bit and hold it tighter because I can't really get screws on that one like I did this one. There's a little bit of a gap right there, but you really can't get it much tighter just because this this pan here, it's stepped like 2 times before you get to the top, so like I said, I had to put that screw to hold that over. So it did fix the door popping off issue. Like I said, I think that was because these rollers were just too tight up here. I think that was the main problem. Slide that open. And it came together all right. I had to put some silicone or something up at the top. I don't think that that's going to be an issue. I mean, the idea of water going up that high is... I'm a little skeptical of that, but I'll probably eventually put a little silicone across the top. We'll see how it goes. I do have to clean the tape residue off right there because the other shower surround was up a little bit higher, I think. Just because of the way everything was situated, it was just in a different position, because with this bottom piece being shifted over like that, it would have caused this whole thing to kick this way, and then that would have been higher, and then this bottom piece would have been farther away as it got shoved over. So the floor is a lot more firm. Before, you could step on it and it was like kind of moving all over the place because there was like a gap about, I don't know, probably 1/8 of an inch between the bottom of the pan and the top of that little tray that's under there. So we got that fixed. I don't know. I think our seam down here is pretty good. It's all connected all the way across. That was actually kind of tricky. This side here wanted to be a little bit lower just because of how it went in, and it just trying to match it up, and then it's such a large piece, it doesn't take a lot to get it off. And let's see it. It's flush with the bottom of the pan there. So I think we're good. A little bit of a job, but it's done. So on this here, stop rambling. That's that. So hope that helps somebody. If you watched, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.